All City of Ottawa employees will be required to be in the office 5 days a week starting January 1st, 2026, as the city ends hybrid work arrangements for municipal employees. So why don't we check in right now with Bill Carroll from the Morning Rush on News Talk 580 CFRA to hear what he has to say about this new change. Good morning to you, Bill.
Morning. Kind of surprising how fast it's all happening. A few companies, big businesses like banks started to say, this isn't really working for us. Even tech companies, of all the companies, tech companies started to get their workers to come back to the office full time. And then the federal government announced an extra day or two a week. Most people picked one, and who would pick two if you had the option, I guess. Then the provincial government, now we're seeing cities, municipalities like Ottawa, kind of out of nowhere saying, that's it, we're done with hybrid work. Not entirely, but we're done with hybrid work. For most workers, you have to be back in the office full time by January 1st. So it's been kind of a whirlwind. And this one, wasn't exactly out of the blue. I know you guys talked to the mayor. I talked to the mayor on my show. He said there were conversations going on. I'd heard that it was a little bit delicate with the unions, that the city manager was dealing with them and trying to come to some agreement on all of this quietly. And I guess they've succeeded in doing that. I don't imagine people are going to they're going to grumble about it, of course. I'm sure they're at home this morning going, oh, but I don't know that there'll be strikes or protests over it. And I think in the end, Rosie, a lot of people will actually be glad to get back to the office 5 days a week. I know that it can be difficult when you're isolated at home working. I think this is what organizations are seeing, is that while it's working and productivity has been okay, we're not really training the next generation of workforce. It's very difficult to build a culture and keep a culture going when people are apart so much of the time. Now, the city has also said there will be some kind of hybrid work, and they don't say exactly how they'll manage all of that. But if they're smart, now that we've learned how to work from home, they'll allow people who are maybe feeling a little under the weather to, instead of taking the time off, still be productive and work from home for a couple of days. If people are stuck in a terrible snowstorm, instead of having the office shut down for a day, then you can still have people work from home. So I think there are ways that we can learn from what we've just been through after the pandemic and continue some of it in a case-by-case basis and make us all better off. I hope that that's what they have in mind. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I like how you look at that. That's a positive way there, glass half full, making that change from hybrid to full-time back at the office, but with some exceptions. Like you said, if the weather's not great, then you do have that option to work from home. So I know that it's going to be a major shift for so many people who are used to working from home most of the days of the week, now having to get over into the office. But I think of the health benefits, the social benefits as well. Like, just, you're going to be walking a lot more is what I assume when you actually have to go into work. So yes, it's an initial shock, but I'm thinking it might be better off for many, many workers to get back in there, socialize, exchange
ideas. You make
ideas.
a great point. I was talking about the mental health, but I think the physical health is part of it as well. When your longest walk of the day is from the kitchen to your office at home, maybe that's not the best thing for us. The other thing is, the federal government is now the laggard here. And because we're the capital, our downtown culture and business has been hurt the most. It'll be interesting to see if the Prime Minister looks at what's happening now provincially and municipally and says, maybe it's time that we had our workforce back 5 days a week as well. The problem they're going to run into is they've zipped on ahead and closed a lot of workspaces, and there's not enough workspaces right now for people coming in a third day, let alone a fourth or a fifth day. So as usual, the federal government probably messed this up, and we'll have some regrets about the way it was handled.
We'll have to wait and see on that, but I think you have a point there, Bill. You have a great show, Bill.
Thank you, Rosie. See you later.
Okay. You can listen to The Morning Rush with Bill Carroll on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.